Wouldn't it be cool if you were one of the cool kids? You know, it's always tough when you're in a niche and you feel like you're not one of the cool kids. We've all been there. Like people will shout out, the top 3 greatest, whatever, cold email guys, and then I'm not on the list. Or they'll shout out like the top 3 greatest SEO people and you're not on the list. And you feel a little shocked, a little hurt that people aren't calling you out. And sometimes it feels like it might be on purpose. And in today's video, I want to talk about what we do to avoid that and how you can stop having that happen. And it's called the Kingmaker Strategy. Use this in your business to take everything to the next level. But before we jump into the strategy, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe down below. The Kingmaker Strategy is this. If you feel like you're not one of the cool kids and that the market is actively ignoring you, then what you have to do is create supporters. And if you can't get the big guys in your industry to pay attention to you, then you have to create a new industry or new celebrities inside the industry in order to get them talking about you, to put enough pressure on the big guys to get them to acknowledge you. You can see this a lot on Twitter. I'll engage with accounts that have 1,000 followers that are making good content, retweet their tweets, support them, etc. 1, because they're making good content, but 2, then when they blow up and like maybe 2 in 10 of them do blow up majorly, then I have supporters, because these are people that are watching these videos. They're going out there. They're talking about cold email. They're talking about all this great stuff. And I'm seeking them out and I'm helping to boost them up. And that's the true Kingmaker strategy. If you can't get accepted by the old guard, then you make a new guard. And ideally, you make a new guard that makes the old guard seem very stupid or completely outdated. And then you guys take over the entire industry with you as one of the drivers. And this is good for everyone. Everybody wants to have an audience, especially people that are on Twitter, people on YouTube. So if I can go out there and use my platform to help these people out, and then in exchange, we get supporters in the long run, everyone does better. And if you do the same, then all of a sudden we can have this whole cohort of people, and then we have an entirely new industry built of supporters, of influencers that will say good stuff about us, and then we can be included on those lists. Because that's the main thing. You really want to be included on those cool kid top 10 lists. Isn't that what it's all about? The ego, the long-term ego play. I think it's really about having supporters and defense in case you get attacked, but also in terms of growth. So for instance, let's say there's somebody on Twitter. I can't acknowledge anyone that we helped. Otherwise, that would ruin the strategy. So let's say there's somebody on Twitter that has like 20 to 40,000 followers that we've been boosting up since they were about 1,000 followers. Now they feel like they owe us a favor. So when we launch something, now they'll tweet it out, they'll talk about it, and they'll get their audience to come to us. And now we are growing as well at the same time. You know who's doing this really well besides me, besides us? This isn't a new strategy. This isn't something that I came up with. This is something that everyone in every industry has done forever. Mr. Beast on YouTube is doing this right now with all sorts of major YouTubers. You can see he's helping out so many people with their videos. Everyone from Logan Paul is in his new videos being boosted up, to Eric being boosted up by Mr. Beast, to all of like the small YouTubers, the other people on the Beast crew that are being built up around Mr. Beast's content. You could even see when he did the Squid Game video, there were all of these behind the scenes videos that ran on YouTube that were like, I almost ruined Mr. Beast's Squid Game, or I did the effects for Mr. Beast's Squid Game, stuff like that all had millions of views and drove more subs to all of these people's channels. And what that does for Mr. Beast long term is, let's say he starts falling off in a year, 2 years, the algorithm stops giving him as much love. Now, all the channels that he's boosted up that have millions of followers and get all these views, now those people will help Mr. Beast. They'll feature him in the videos and they'll help him stay relevant. This is a tale as old as time in the influencer space. You could see it in movies and TV as well. Adam Sandler is known for doing a bunch of movies with his friends. But who are his friends? His friends, some of them are actual celebrities, like he's in movies with Chris Rock. But some of his friends are just his friends that have now become celebrities through being featured in his content. And now, if he had ever fallen off, they could help boost him up by being in his films and helping the film succeed more. Same with Joe Rogan. How many stand-up comedians did we not know about before they were featured heavily on Joe Rogan's podcast? People like Brendan Schwab. Who is that? I don't know. But now he's on the podcast. We know exactly who he is. Bert Kreischer, similar. Just from Joe Rogan's universe. And now if he's in trouble, he's got a bunch of defenders that will come to his aid. Even in the podcaster space, it's not just stand-up comedians. He's built up people like Lex Friedman or Tim Pool that are now staunch defenders of his and have big platforms, mostly thanks to the boost that he gave them in the beginning of their careers. So this Kingmaker strategy is something that you can use really at any level of your career in order to help drive the entire business forward. So think about this. Who are the top influencers in your space that you want to be on the radar of? And now, instead of trying to like beg them to pay attention to you, who are some people that are similar to them or ideally even have higher quality content and are hungrier than them, but don't have the audience yet? Who are some of those people that you can help promote and build up so that those big influencers will eventually either become irrelevant or start paying attention to you? And that is the Kingmaker strategy. Let me go into detail on how to help somebody else grow on whatever social media platform. So it starts with picking a social media platform that you want to implement the Kingmaker strategy on. Let's start with Twitter, for instance. That's an easy one. So you build a list, you follow like 5 to 10 people, and then on their tweets, you start retweeting them. You start commenting on their tweets. You start building them up. Maybe you do interviews with them, Twitter lives to help increase their reach and do the Kingmaker strategy. Similar to YouTube. If you're running a YouTube channel, you could feature a lot of these smaller YouTubers on the channel and help increase their reach, send your audience to them so that they grow and then they become big and we get this whole thing going that we want. Now, there is a risk to the Kingmaker strategy, and that risk would be, what if you send a bunch of traffic to somebody and they blow up and then they don't pay you back? And that risk, to me, is completely irrelevant because remember, we're doing this to serve the industry as a whole. It serves the industry. So for instance, we have all these cold email influencers that I don't want to name because it would ruin the strategy, but all these people that are writing about cold email content, that are growing their YouTube channels, growing their Twitter content, growing all of their stuff on LinkedIn, etc., that are basically in this strategy that we're running. And now cold email is going more and more mainstream. So we win when we boost up X person that has, small Facebook group, blow it up. Or we boost X person that has bad YouTube channel, give them feedback, give them ideas, and blow them up. Or we retweet somebody on Twitter that now has 20,000 followers that had 1,000 when we started doing it. Then the whole industry gets better. New people learn about the concepts, and everyone makes more money in the end. So even if they don't pay you back with retweets or love or whatever, you've already been paid back by increasing the reach of the industry. And that's the main goal of it. It's not like a quid pro quo thing, like I'll give you 200,000 followers on this, and in exchange, you shout me out. It's more like I'm going to retweet you because your content's great, and I'm going to make an effort to retweet people that have smaller accounts. That way, they're going to be more grateful for the promotion. What other examples have you seen of the Kingmaker strategy in action? I'd love to learn more about what you've seen. One of the best users of this is Dennis Yu. Big fan of what he's been doing with the Kingmaker strategy. He's always promoting small creators all the time. It's super cool to see. Do you have any other examples? Let me know down in the comments below. Smash that like button to encourage this type of content on YouTube. Subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. I'm Alex Berman.